Hello everyone, this is Al Red Sox Fan coming to you from Al Red Sox Fan YouTube station with our second game of the doubleheader here on Tuesday night using Action PC Baseball and Retro Replay of 1977. This game features the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. The Seattle Mariners are visiting with a record of 10 wins and 16 losses against the first place Boston Red Sox. They're tied with the New York Yankees. The Sox have a 17 wins and 3 losses so far in this 1977 Retro Replay. Let's quickly go to the Seattle Mariner lineup. Milbourne batting first, playing second. Braun left field, batting second. Lopez batting third, right field. Batting fourth, Meyer, the first baseman. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Bernhard. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Stein. Batting seventh, the center fielder, Jones. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Reynolds. Batting ninth and doing the catching, Jutzi. On the mound, Thomas. For the Red Sox, leading off, the center fielder, Rick Miller. Batting second, the shortstop, Rick Burleson. Batting third, the left fielder, Captain Carl Yastrzemski. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Jim Rice. Batting fifth, the catcher, Carlton Fisk. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Bernie Carbo. Batting sixth, Bernie Carbo playing right field. Batting seventh, Butch Hobson playing third base. Batting eighth, the first baseman, George Boomer Scott. And batting ninth, playing second, Denny Doyle. Doing the pitching, Bob Stanley. Welcome to Fenway Park. Seattle's lost 5 straight and 8 of their last 10. The Red Sox have won 7 straight and 9 out of their last 10. Stan Thomas takes the mound for the Mariners. He's made 6 starts, no wins, 4 losses with an ERA of 7.71. Bob Stanley's making his first start of the season. And on the year, he's 3 wins and no losses with an ERA of 2.25. Those wins have come out of the bullpen. Carlton Fisk is riding an 11-game hitting streak. It's 67 degrees, wind speed 9 miles per hour in from right center field. And as they say in Retro Replay world, let's play ball on May 4th, 1977. Alright, so leading off for Seattle, Larry Milbourne. He'll be facing Bob Stanley, the pitcher. In 1977, Stanley went 8 wins, 7 losses, 3 saves, ERA of 3.99. Batting average against, .294. His battery mate, Hall of Fame catcher, Carlton Fisk. At third base, the error machine, Butch Hobson. At shortstop, very good shortstop, Rick Burleson. At second base, the average Denny Doyle. And at first base, the excellent George Boomer Scott. In left field, Captain Carl Yastrzemski, who's magnificent. The average Rick Miller in center field. He has a good arm, though, 8 out of 10. And Bernie Carbo had a very good defensive year, playing right field in 1977. 8 out of 10 defensively, and a cannon for an arm, 9 out of 10. So once again, leading off for Seattle, Larry Milbourne. Milbourne on this Retro Replay is hitting .269. 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. In actuality, Milbourne hit .219, 2 home runs, 21 runs batted in, and off right-handed pitching at .224. Stanley gets the sign from Fisk. He sets and delivers to Milbourne, and we're on our way. Ground ball back to Stanley, over to Scott. 1 out. Steve Braun steps to the plate. Seattle left fielder, hitting .268, 1 home run, 12 ribbies on the Retro Replay. In 1977, Braun actually hit .235 for the year, 5 home runs and 31 RBIs. Braun hit .257 off right-handed pitching. Stanley sets and delivers. And that ball goes into center field. It drops in front of Rick Miller for a 1-out single. Braun 5 out of 10 for speed, 32% chance of stealing. Second base. Scott will hold him on. Carlos Lopez, the Seattle right fielder, steps to the plate. Lopez hitting .311 on the retro season. 1 home run, 6 RBIs. In actuality, he had a good year in 77. 283, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. And he hit right-handed pitching at a clip of a 293 average. Stanley is going to want to get that ball down and get that double play to get out of this inning. The windup and the pitch by Stanley. Try to get him to chase. That ball's grounded to Burleson, to Doyle, to Scott. 6 to... No! Lopez beats it out. Wow. I thought Doyle made a good turn there, but Lopez hustling down the line beats out the double play ball. So 2 outs. Lopez reaches on the fielder's choice. And that will bring up a power threat for the Mariners, Dan Meyer, their first baseman. Meyer batting .250, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in on this retro replay, 1977. Actuality for the year, .273, 22 home runs, and 90 RBIs. Meyer hit right-handed pitching at a .281 clip. So 2 outs, a runner on, left-handed batting power hitter, Meyer at the plate. Fist goes through the signs. Stanley sets and delivers. That ball's grounded to Hobson, who goes to Doyle. Inning over, they force Lopez at second. We go to the bottom of the first, no score, the Red Sox coming to bat. Rick Miller comes to the plate. Miller, the center fielder in today's game. Slow start, limited playing time so far. Only batting .136, no home runs and 1 RBI. But against the Mariners, this is a good team to try to get on track. In actuality, Miller hit .254, no home runs and 24 RBIs in 1977. On the mound for the Mariners, Stan Thomas. In 77, 2 wins, 6 losses, no saves. ERA of 6.02. Batting average against, .310. In the retro replay, it's even worse, folks. 7.71 ERA, no wins, 4 losses. Batting average against, .353. His battery mate, Skip Jutsi, a very poor catcher. At third base, the above-average Bill Stein. At shortstop, a good, solid fielding Craig Reynolds. Milborn's at second, very good. And Meyer at first, good also. So that's not a bad defensive infield here for the Mariners. In left field, we have Steve Braun, above-average fielder, good arm. Rupert Jones in center field, very good outfielder and a good arm. And Lopez, again, above-average outfield with a very good arm. So that's a pretty good defensive lineup the Mariners are putting out there to face the Red Sox here tonight. So Rick Miller's at the plate. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Miller will be taking as Thomas struggles with his control. He's walked 19 and only struck out 6 in this retro replay. Though he gets that strike over, the off-speed pitch catches the inside corner. So no balls, 1 strike. Thomas sets and delivers to Miller. Miller grounds it to Reynolds, who throws him out to Myers. So 1 out, Rick Burleson steps to the plate, the Red Sox shortstop, off to a very, very fast start. .359. No home runs, 4 ribbies in the retro replay. In actuality, Burleson had a solid, very good year in 77, .293, 3 home runs, and 52 RBIs while playing a stellar shortstop for the Red Sox. Against right-handed pitching, Burleson hit .275 in 1977. The Roosters at the plate, the windup, and the pitch by Thomas. And Burleson sends that ball deep to the track, but Jones is there in center field to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Captain Carl Yastrzemski steps to the plate. Yaz is hitting .390 in the retro replay. 5 home runs, 21 ribbies. In In actuality, Yastrzemski, another good solid year for Captain Carl. 296, 28 home runs, 102 RBIs. Against right-handed pitching, Yastrzemski hit over 300, 306 in 77. 2 outs, no one on. Jutsi goes through the signs. The windup and the pitch to Yastrzemski. And Yastrzemski works a walk. So a 2-out walk, and that brings up Jim Rice. As the Fenway faithful clapping and cheering on, Jimmy. Rice, 377 so far. 5 home runs and 21 ribbies in the retro replay. In 1977, Jim hit 320, 39 home runs, and 114 RBIs for the Hall of Famer. Right-handed pitching, he hit above 300, 308. With one swing of the bat, Rice could give the Red Sox a 2-0 lead. The windup and the pitch to Jim Rice. 2 outs. Yastrzemski at first. Rice ground. That ball goes up the middle. Yastrzemski goes first to third on the Rice single. Carlton Fisk steps to the plate. Yeah, Fisk has an 11-game hitting streak. Pudge off to a very good start in the retro replay. 306 batting average, 4 home runs, 19 of ribbies. Actuality, Fisk had an excellent year in 77. 315 average, 26 home runs, and 102 RBIs. First and third, 2 outs. The windup and the pitch to Pudge. And that ball goes out to center field, but making a very good running catch is Rupert Jones. Inning over. The Red Sox threaten but do not score. We go to the top of the second. No score. Due up for the Mariners. Barnhart, Stein, and Jones to face Bob Stanley. Barnhart, Mariners designated hitter. 269, 3 home runs, 7 ribbies in the retro replay. Actuality, 243, 7 home runs, 30 ribbies. Stanley sets and delivers to Barnhart. Ball grounded to... Oh! Doyle doesn't make the play. Wow. Just under Doyle's glove, a lead-off single for Barnhart. And that brings Bill Stein to the plate. Stein's hitting 233, 4 home runs, and 12 ribbies in the retro replay for the Mariners. Stein has a little pop in his bat. He had 13 home runs in 77 to go with 67 RBIs, batted .259. Only batted .239 off right-handed pitching. Stanley looking to induce a double play ball here. Bernhardt's at first, 6 out of 10 base runner. 25% chance of stealing second. Scott holding him on. The windup and the pitch to Stein. Grounder to Doyle. He goes to first to get the first out of the inning. Bernhardt advances on look to be a hit and run. Stay out of the double play. So Bernhardt's at second, 1 away, and another power threat for the Mariners, Rupert Jones, their center fielder. Jones 255, 7 home runs, and 15 RBIs on the retro replay. And once again, we have good friend of the channel, Max Cornelius, in the chat. How are you, my friend? Thank you for joining me once again for the second game of this Tuesday night doubleheader, Retro Replay Land 1977, using Action PC Baseball. Jones, in actuality, hit 263, 24 home runs, and 76 RBIs. Jones batted .292 off right-handed pitching. Stanley sets and delivers. We're going to try to work around him, see if we can get him to chase. And that's a grounder up the middle to Miller in center field. We have a 37% chance of throwing Bernhardt out at the plate. Miller has a good arm, 8 out of 10. He's going to let the throw go to the plate. Here it is, and they gun Bernhardt out for out number 2. What a strong throw by Miller. He charged that ball in center, one-hopped it, and gunned to Fisk, who applied the tag, gunning out Bernhardt. Game still scoreless. Jones at first with a single, 2 outs. Reynolds comes to the plate. Craig Reynolds, Mariners shortstop, batting .235, 1 home run, 11 RBIs. Actuality, Reynolds hit .248, 4 homers, 28 RBIs. Righty-lefty matchup here. The windup and the pitch to Reynolds. That ball's grounded into left field. So that was a huge play by Rick Miller, throwing Bernhardt out at the plate. As Max Cornelius says, good play when Miller throws the runner out at the plate. So 2 outs, 2 on. Mariners catcher Skip Jutsi steps to the plate. I believe that's the way you pronounce his name. That's the way I pronounce it. Jutsi's hitting .273, no home runs, 1 RBI in the retro replay, limited amount of at-bats. In 77, not so good. .220, 3 homers and 15 RBIs. Skip only hit .217 off right-handed pitching. Mariners have threatened. Runner thrown out at the plate so far. 2 outs, 2 on. Here's the pitch to Jutsi. That ball is lined to Burleson. He makes the catch, inning over. So the Mariners threaten but do not score. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. Due up for the Red Sox, Carbo, Hobson, and Scott. Bernie Carbo, playing right field today for the Red Sox, off to a very fast start. 340, 4 home runs, and 10 RBIs. In actuality, Carbo hit .289, 15 home runs, 34 RBIs, and Carbo mashed right-handed pitching at a .306 clip. That's why he's in this game. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Carbo lines to Myers. He hit the ball hard, but right at Dan Meyer, the first baseman for the Mariners. 1 out. Coach Hobson steps to the plate. Red Sox third baseman was off to a slow start. He's picking up the pace a bit. He's finally got his average over 200. He's batting .214 in the retro replay. Does have 7 home runs, though, and 17 RBIs. In actuality, Hobson batted .265, 30 home runs, and 112 ribbies. Off right-handed pitching, batted .264. Jutsi goes through the signs. The windup and the pitch to Hobson. Hobson sends that ball to left field, and Brahm makes a running catch, out number 2. George Scott comes to the plate. The boomer, he's starting to get going a bit. Finally got his average over 200. Batting .222, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. Scott, in actuality, in 1977, batted .269, 33 homers, and 95 ribbies. Scott only hit .239 off right-handed pitching. But he'll be taken. Here's the pitch to the boomer. Strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Scott ready to grip and rip. Thomas winds and delivers. And Scott sends that ball out to Braun and left. He makes the catch, inning over. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the third. Still no score here at Fenway. Due up for the Mariners, top of the order, Milbourne, Braun, and Lopez. To face Bob Stanley. Milbourne 0 for 1. Fisk goes through the signs, the windup and the pitch by Stanley. Grounder to Doyle. He makes the play. Over to Scott. 1 out. Steve Braun steps to the plate. Braun 1 for 1. Singled in the first. Stanley gets the sign, nods his head. Here's the pitch to Braun. That ball goes grounded up the middle. And Braun's now 2 for 2. Not a threat to run. Not a threat to steal here. Lopez comes to the plate. Lopez 0 for 1. Stanley would once again love to get the pitcher's best friend a double play ball here. The windup and the pitch to Lopez. 1 out, 1 on. Strikes him out. Lopez got a piece of it, but Fisk hung on to it. So 2 outs. Braun at first. Left-handed power hitter. Mariners first baseman Dan Myers comes to the plate. He's 0 for 1. The windup and the pitch to Meyer. That ball is sent deep to center field. Miller back on the track, makes the catch, inning over. Meyer gave it a ride, but it was just a long out. Go to the bottom of the third, no score. Due up for the Red Sox. Doyle, Miller, and Burleson. Denny Doyle, 1977 retro replays, batting .236, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. In actuality, Doyle hit .240, 2 home runs, and 49 RBIs. The windup and the pitch to Doyle. Doyle works a walk. Doesn't go for that ball in the dirt in a 3-2 count. So Doyle's on first. Top of the order, Rick Miller comes to the plate. Miller's 0 for 1. 10 out of 10 for bunting. And 4 out of 10 for hit and run. And you know what? We're going to put down a sacrifice bunt here. Here's the pitch to Miller. Miller puts down a go! Wow! Thomas quickly comes off the mound. He tries to whirl and Durrell. He throws badly to second base. Runners at first and second. No outs. They had a sure out of Miller at first, but they tried to get the lead runner. And that's why the Mariners were not too good in 1977. So, first and second, Miller's on with the error. Rick Burleson comes to the plate. The Roosters 0 for 1. Jutsi goes through the signs. Thomas nods his head. And wind up and the pitch to Burleson. Burleson grounds to Stein, who goes to Meyer for the first out of the inning. But runners advance. Doyle's now at third. Miller's now at second. 1 out, and Captain Carl Yastrzemski comes to the plate. Yaz walked his first time up. He's got 2 ducks out on the pond that he can knock in here. Thomas sets and delivers to Yastrzemski. And Yastrzemski grounds that ball back to Thomas, who bobbles it. It's going to be an error. Doyle scores. 1-0 Red Sox. So Thomas has not helped himself out in this inning. So first and third, 1 out. Jim Rice comes to the plate. Rice 1 for 1. Singled in the first. The windup and the pitch to Rice. Rice pops it up. Stein calls for it, makes the catch at third. So 2 outs. 2 on. Carlton Fisk comes to the plate. Fisk 0 for 1. He has an 11-game hitting streak. He awaits the pitch from Thomas. Thomas sets, delivers. Fisk grounds that ball in the left field. Yastrzemski goes first to third. Miller scores. The Red Sox take a 2-0 lead on the Fisk single. Bernie Carbo comes to the plate. He has an RBI opportunity here with 2 outs, 2 on. Carbo 0 for 1. Jutsi goes through the signs. Here's the pitch to Carbo. And Carbo walks. Bases loaded. Excellent patience by Bernie Carbo. No place to put Butch Hobson. Red Sox third baseman 0 for 1. Thomas struggling here. 2-0 Red Sox. 2 outs. Bases jammed. The windup and the pitch to Hobson. And Hobson rips that ball to Stein, who makes the catch, inning over, averting any more damage. But the Red Sox score 2 and take the lead 2-0. We go to the top of the 4th. Due up for Seattle. Bernhardt, Stein, and Jones. Juan Bernhardt's 1 for 1. The windup and the pitch by Bob Stanley. The steamer. That ball goes out and foul to left. So no balls, 2 strikes. The Stanley steamer's ready. Here's the pitch. Grip to Hobson. Over to Scott. 1 down. Bill Stein, the Mariners' third baseman, steps to the plate 0 for 1. Stanley working quickly. Here's the pitch. That ball's grounded to Scott. He takes it to the bag himself. 2 up, 2 down. Now up, the Mariners' center fielder, Rupert Jones. Dangerous power hitter. Lefty-righty matchup here. Jones hit right-handed pitching at a 292 clip. Fisk flashes the signs. Stanley sets and delivers to Jones. That ball is singled into right center field. Jones is on with 2 outs. And I'll bring up the Mariners shortstop, Craig Reynolds. Reynolds 1 for 1 today. He singled in the second. Scott holding Jones on. The windup and the pitch to Reynolds. And he grounds it to Scott, and Scott makes a rare error. Wow. So Stanley should be out of this inning. Scott makes an error, first and second. 2 outs. The catcher, Skip Jutsi, steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1. Reynolds represents a tying run at first. Jutsi the go-ahead run at the plate. If you're thinking home run for Jutsi, he only had 3 in 1977, and he only batted .217 off right-handed pitching. Stanley wants to work out of this jam here. The windup and the pitch to Jutsi. That ball is blooped into left center. Jones scores from second. Reynolds goes first to third. Jutsi has a 2-out RBI single. 2-1 Red Sox. So Larry Milbourne steps to the plate. Milbourne opportunity here to tie this game up. Reynolds represents a tying run at third. Jutsi the go-ahead run at first. Milner 0 for 2. Grounded to the pitcher in the first. Grounded out in the third. Stanley rubs up the baseball, steps back on the rubber. The windup and the pitcher to Milbourne. That ball's grounded to Burleson. He fires to Scott. Inning over. So the error by Scott proves very costly. The Mariners are able to score an unearned run. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 2-1 Boston. Due up for the Red Sox, Scott, Doyle, and Miller. The Boomers 0 for 1 today. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Scott sends that ball deep and gone! Home run for the Boomer, 3-1. So the Boomer makes up for the error and gets that run right back. Denny Doyle steps to the plate. Doyle walked his first time up. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Doyle to take. Strike 1. Wow. Doyle thought that was a little high. So no balls, 1 strike. Doyle will swing away. Here's the pitch. And Doyle grounds it to Stein. Throws to Meyer. First out of the inning. Moans and groans from the Fenway fans. They thought Doyle beat it out. No argument by Denny or the first base coach, though. Rick Miller steps to the plate. Miller's 0 for 1. And also put down a sacrifice bunt that Thomas and the infield just muffed, leading to some Red Sox runs in the bottom of the third. Here's the windup and the pitch to Miller. Miller grounds it to Milbourne, charges in, throws to first, and they just get Miller by the hair of the chinny chin chin. 2 outs, no one on. Rick Burleson steps to the plate. The Roosters 0 for 2. The windup and the pitch to Burleson. And Burleson walks. So Thomas now up to 75 pitches. He's good for 125. He has struggled through these first 4 innings. And he'll have to deal with Captain Carl Yastrzemski. Yaz is 0 for 1. Walked in the first. Grounded out in the third. Burleson at first. 2 down. Thomas sets and delivers to Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski sends a single into left center field. Burleson goes first to third. So with 2 outs, Jim Rice steps to the plate. RBI opportunity here for Rice. Rice 1 for 2. Singled in the first and popped out in the third. Thomas's struggles continue for the Mariners. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Rice pops it up. Myers is calling for it. He makes the catch. An inning over. We go to the top of the 5th. 3-1 Red Sox. Due up for the Mariners. Braun, Lopez, and Meyer to face Bob Stanley. Braun 2 for 2. Mariners left fielder singled in the first and singled in the third. Fisk goes through the signs. Stanley nods his head. The windup and the pitch to Braun. That ball's popped up. Fisk throws his mask off, makes the catch. Out number 1. Carlos Lopez, Mariners right fielder, steps to the plate. Lopez 0 for 2. The windup and the pitch to Lopez. That ball sent out to Carbo in right field. He comes in, makes the catch. So 2 outs, no one on. It'll be up to Dan Meyer, Mariners first baseman, who's 0 for 2 to keep this inning alive. The windup and the pitch to Meyer. That ball sent out to center field, and Miller makes a diving catch in left center to rob Meyer of extra base, and the inning is over. Stanley applauds the effort and goes jogging off the field. We go to the bottom of the fifth. The Red Sox lead the Mariners 3-1. Due up for the Red Sox: Fisk, Carbo, and Hobson. Fisk is 1 for 2, fly deep to left center, and singled in the third. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. Fisk grounds another single to left field. So a leadoff single. Fisk 5 out of 10 for base running. 24% chance of stealing second, but he's going to stay put here. Bernie Carbo comes to the plate. Carbo 0 for 1. The windup and the pitch by Thomas. And Carbo rips that ball deep and gone to right field. A 2-run blast for Bernie C. The Red Sox now lead 5-1. Once again, Carbo flashing that power early on in the 1977 retro replay, crushing that ball to right. No outs, bases cleared, and Butch Hobson comes to the plate. Hobson 0 for 2. Thomas is now up to 94 pitches. I don't know how much longer the Mariners are going to go with him. He's just been dreadful. Hobson wants to get off the snide here and join the hit parade. Jitsi goes through the signs. The windup and the pitch to Butch Hobson. And Hobson strikes out swinging. 1 out. The Boomer steps to the plate. Scott 1 for 2. Fly to center in the second, and then hit a solo bomb in the fourth to left. He awaits the delivery by Thomas. Here's the pitch. And Boomer sent that ball out to left, but Brown makes a catch on the warning track. So 2 outs. Denny Doyle steps to the plate. Doyle 0 for 1. Here's the pitch to Doyle. 2 outs, no one on. Doyle grounds to Meyer, who flips to Thomas covering. Inning over. Damage done, though. We go to the top of the 6th. The Red Sox now lead 5-1 thanks to the 2-run blast by Bernie Carbo. Due up for the Mariners: Bernhardt, Stein, and Jones. Bob Stanley's now up to 66 pitches. His threshold is 125. He sets and delivers to Bernhardt. That ball is sent out to Yastrzemski in left. He makes the catch. 1 out. Bill Stein steps to the plate. Mariner third baseman's 0 for 2. Stanley sets. Here's the pitch. That ball's grounded to Hobson, over to Scott. 2 up, 2 down. Stanley working quickly. Rupert Jones steps to the plate. Jones 2 for 2. In the one bright spot here for the Mariners. Their center fielder singled in the second and singled in the fourth. Fisk flashes the signs. Stanley nods his head. The windup and the pitch to Jones. Jones grounds to Doyle, over to Scott. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Red Sox up 5-1. Rick Miller to lead off the inning. Red Sox center fielder 0 for 2. Thomas still on the mound. 108 pitches in all. The windup and the pitch to Miller. And Miller sends that ball to Jones, and he makes the catch. Miller hit it hard, but that line drive just hung up enough for Jones to make the catch in right center field. Rick Burleson steps to the plate with 1 out, no one on. The Rooster 0 for 2. The windup and the pitch to Burleson. Burleson grounds it to Reynolds, comes charging, and he throws, and Burleson has a hit. Hustling all the way, Burleson gets an infield hit. Reynolds charged hard, made an accurate throw, but not in time. The Rooster beat it out. 1 out, 1 on for Carl Yastrzemski. Yaz, 1 for 2. Walked in the first, grounded out in the third, and singled in the fourth. Thomas now up to 119 pitches. He sets and delivers to Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski sends that ball deep to right field. Lopez back on the track, makes the catch in front of the wall. Burleson retreats back to first. 2 outs. Jim Rice comes to the plate. Rice 1 for 3. Thomas now up to 126 pitches. He's over his threshold. A tiring Thomas could lead to a tremendous opportunity here for Jimmy Rice. Rice single in the first, popped up in the third and fourth. He'd like to pop one over the left field wall. Thomas sets and delivers to Rice. And Rice strikes out. Rice having a tough game after his initial single. We go to the top of the seventh. Red Sox 5, Mariners 1. Due up for the Mariners, Reynolds, Jutsi, and Milbourne. Craig Reynolds 1 for 2 today. Bob Stanley up to 78 pitches. The windup and the pitch to Reynolds. That ball's grounded to Burleson. Good strong throw to Scott. 1 out. Skip Jutsi, Mariner catcher, steps to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Stanley nods his head, sets, delivers to Jutsi. That ball's popped up. Burleson calls for it, makes the catch. 2 outs. It's up to Larry Milbourne to try to extend the top of the seventh. Milbourne 0 for 3. Tough day for Larry. The windup and the pitch by Stanley. And Milbourne doubles into the right center field gap. Inning stays alive. Milbourne now 1 for 4. And he'll bring up the hot-hitting Steve Braun. 2 for 3. Fisk goes out to have a word with Stanley. Now goes back behind the plate. So 2 outs. Milbourne's on at second. The windup and the pitch to Braun. Braun grounds one into right field. And we have a 13% chance for Carbo, who has an arm of a 9, to throw out Milbourne, who runs 6 out of 10. We're going to let Carbo unleash the cannon. Here's the throw, and he's out! Carbo guns out Milbourne at the plate. Inning over. That's the second runner the Mariners have got gunned out at the plate. What a throw by Bernie Carbo. He's doing it all. Just like Bogey and Bacall. We go to the bottom of the seventh. The Red Sox lead 5-1. Due up for the Red Sox. Fisk, Carbo, and Hobson. New pitcher for the Mariners, Dave Pagan. Pagan, not much better than Thomas. In 1977, 1 win, 1 loss, 2 saves, ERA of 6.14. Batting average against, a horrible 323. Struck out 30, walked 26. In the retro replay, ERA much better, 278. 2 saves, no wins, no losses. Walked 8, struck out 7. Batting average, slightly better. Not that good, though. 299 against. So Fisk's 2 for 3. Pudge fly deep in the first. Singled in the third. Miller scored. And singled again in the fifth. The windup and the pitch by Pagan. Fisk grounds to Stein, over to Meyer, 1 out. Here comes Bernie Carbo. He gunned out Milbourne at the plate to end the top of the seventh. Carbo's 1 for 2. He had a 2-run homer in the fifth. Carbo awaits the delivery from Pagan. The windup and the pitch to Bernie. And Carbo rips that to Lopez, but he can't make the catch. He trapped that line drive, so Carbo has himself another hit, a 1-out single. Carbo not a threat to run. Not a threat to run at all. Coach Hobson comes to the plate. Hobson 0 for 3. Hobson wants to join the hit parade, wants to get off the schneid. The windup and the pitch by Pagan. And Hobson strikes out, swinging. Goes to 0-4. The Boomer steps to the plate. Scott 1 for 3. He had a home run. Love to hit another one. 1 out, 2 outs, 1 on. Jutsi goes through the signs. The windup and the pitch to the Boomer. And Scott dribbles it to Reynolds, who makes a diving stop and quickly flips to Milbourne at second to force out Carbo. Inning over. We go to the top of the 8th. Red Sox lead 5-1. Due up for the Mariners, Lopez, Meyer, and Bernhard. Stanley Up to 89 pitches. Once again, his threshold's 125. Lopez 0 for 3. Trying to get something started here for the Mariners. The Stanley Steamer just wants to steamroll them. He sets and delivers to Lopez. That ball's popped up. Burleson calls for it. Out number 1. Dan Meyer, Mariners' first baseman, 0 for 3 today, comes to the plate. Fisk flashes aside. The windup and the pitch to Meyer. And Meyer walks. 4 consecutive balls by Stanley. He was out of sync in that whole scenario to Meyer. So 1 on, 1 out. Juan Bernhardt, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. He's 1 for 3. He has a little pop in his bat. 7 home runs in 77. And we're not going to have Scott. We're going to have Scott play behind. Give him a little more range. The windup and the pitch to Bernhardt. That ball's grounded to Burleson. Over to Doyle. Back to Scott. Double play. Inning over. A pitcher's best friend with runners on score and on base. The double play ball. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 5-1 Red Sox. Due up for the Red Sox. Doyle, Miller, and Burleson. Denny Doyle at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Pagan still on the mound for the Mariners. Here's the pitch to Doyle. Doyle grounds it to Meyer, who flips to Pagan, covering. Out number 1. Again, the Fenway faithful groan as they think Doyle should have beat that one out also. But once again, no argument by Denny. Back to the dugout he goes. Rick Miller steps to the plate. Miller 0 for 3. Jones made a nice catch on a Miller line drive his last time up. The windup and the pitch to Rick Miller. Miller grounds it to Reynolds. A diving stop. Gets up and guns it to Meyer. Miller robbed once again of a hit. So 2 outs, no one on. Rick Burleson comes to plate. He had an infield hit his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day. The windup and the pitch by Pagan. And Burleson walks. Pagan's now up to 31 pitches. He's good for 75. Burleson not a threat to run. 2 outs. Yastrzemski comes to the plate. Yaz 1 for 3. The windup and the pitch to Yastrzemski. He's going to take. Strike 1. Wow. So that off-speed pitch is in there. No balls, 1 strike. Yastrzemski ready to grip and rip with 2 outs and Burleson at first. And that ball goes down to Myers and he boots the ball. That's an E3. Burleson advances to second. So once again, Mariners should be out of this inning. But another error. That is the 3rd error on the Mariners today. And that will bring up Jim Rice, who's 1 for 4. 2 outs, 2 on for Jimmy. The windup and the pitch to Rice. Rice pops it up. This is going to be the 3rd time he pops out in this game. Myers catches it, inning over. Wow. So we go to the top of the 9th. Stanley looking to get a complete game here. He's up to 98 pitches. He's good for 125. Still looks strong. Fisk goes out to have a word with him. Gives him the ball. Fisk goes back behind the plate. Stanley rubs the ball up. Now gets on the mound. Toes the rubber. Stein will be the leadoff batter. And then Jones and Reynolds. If anyone reaches, Jutsi the catcher. Stein's 0 for 3. The windup and the pitch to Stein. And that ball singled into left field. So a leadoff single for Stein. And now bring up Rupert Jones. Jones 2 for 3. One bright spot for the Mariners today. It's definitely a power threat. No outs. Stein at first. The windup and the pitch by Bob Stanley. That ball sent out to Miller in center. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Stanley's 2 outs away from a complete game victory. He's going to face Craig Reynolds, who made just 2 outstanding plays last inning. Reynolds 1 for 3. Stein at first, 1 down. Here's the pitch by Stanley. That ball sent out to Carbo. Carbo goes back on it and makes the catch and guns it back in towards the infield. So 2 outs. It's going to be up to the Mariner catcher, Skip Jutsi. Jutsi 1 for 3 to keep this inning going. Stein's at first. The windup and the pitch to Jutsi. That ball sent to Miller. He goes to right center, makes the catch. Ball game over. Bob Stanley gets a complete game victory. The Red Sox defeat the Mariners 5-1. The Red Sox record now goes to 18 wins and only 3 losses in this 1977 retro replay using PC Action Baseball. Seattle falls to 10 wins and 17 losses. I'm guessing player of the game could be Bob Stanley. Let's bring up the box score and find out. Bob Stanley goes to 4 wins, no losses on the season. Thomas drops to a dreadful no wins, 5 losses. Player of the game, Bob Stanley. So let's bring up the box score. I will bring it up momentarily. Go to OBS. And there's the box score. Let's fit it to the screen. Okay. It should be up. There we go. Alrighty. Let's quickly go to the pitching. And Bob Stanley. Now 4 wins, no losses. Player of the game, went 9 innings, scattered 10 hits. Mariners had opportunities to score. Remember, they had 2 runners thrown out at the plate. One by Rick Miller and one by Bernie Carbo. They could have easily had 3 runs. Only had 1 run, though, and it was unearned due to an error. So then Stanley had 1 walk, 1 K. He threw 108 pitches. So he did a workmanlike job in his 5-1 victory for the Red Sox. For the Mariners, Thomas was dreadful. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 2 home runs, 4 walks, 2 Ks. Thomas and the Mariner pitching were not helped out by their own defensive liabilities, including Thomas on a sacrifice bunt. Pagan came in, or Pagan, however you want to pronounce the name. 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, walked 1, struck out 1. Let's go to the batting quickly. For the Red Sox, Rick Miller, 0 for 4. He did score a run. He reached on that error debacle when he sacrificed bunt to try to move Doyle over, and they tried to cut Doyle down at second in pure butchery by their defense. Led to no one being out in first and second for the Red Sox. Burleson, 1 for 3, walked twice. Yastrzemski, 1 for 4, walked once. Rice, 1 for 5, struck out once. Fisk, 2 for 4, 1 run scored, 1 RBI. Carbo, very good game, 2 for 3, 1 run scored, 2 RBIs, 1 walk, and 1 home run. Hobson, we can just say, 0 for 4, K'd twice. Scott, who struggles against right-handed pitching, 1 for 4, 1 run, 1 RBI, and he homered. And Denny Doyle, 0 for 3, 1 run scored, 1 walk. The Red Sox had 34 at-bats, 5 runs, 8 hits. They made the most out of their hits. 4 RBIs, because they had 1 unearned run. 5 walks, 3 Ks, and 2 home runs. The Red Sox left 17 runners on base. Jimmy Rice left 7. And Hobson left 4. Those were the 2 offenders. For Seattle, Milbourne, 1 for 4. He had a double. Braun, 3 for 4. Their left fielder had a good game. Lopez, 0 for 4. Meyer, 0 for 3. Bernhardt, 1 for 4. Stein, 1 for 4. Jones, 2 for 4. He had a good game. One run scored. Reynolds, 1 for 4. Made a couple of fine defensive plays at short for the Mariners. And then the catcher Jutsi, 1 for 4. He knocked in the only run. The only person for Stanley to strike out was Milbourne. No, I'm sorry. Was Lopez. Mariners were up 35, had 35 at-bats, 1 run, 10 hits. Again, Stanley somehow scattered 10 hits. They did get 2 runners thrown out at the plate. That was big. 1 RBI, 1 walk, 1 K, 1 double. They left 14 runners on and had 2 runners thrown out at the plate. Let's quickly go to the recap. Um, Mariners had 3 hits but failed to score in the second. In the third, the Red Sox sent 8 batters to the plate, scoring 2 runs on a hit, 2 walks, and 2 errors. That opened up the floodgates, folks. In that inning, Carlton Fisk extended his hit streak to 12 games. In the fourth, Seattle scored a run on 2 hits and an error. Skip Jutsi singled, scoring Jones. It was 2-1 at the time for the Red Sox. In the fourth inning, the Red Sox scored a run on 2 hits and a walk. George Scott hit a solo home run, made it 3-1. Then in the fifth, 2 runs on 2 hits. Bernie Carbo hit a 2-run blast, made it 5-1, and that's how the game would end. For Seattle, as I said, Steve Braun went 3 for 4. For Boston, Bernie Carbo 2 for 3, a home run and 2 RBIs. Bob Stanley gets the complete game win. He's now 4-0. Stan Thomas just was awful. He's 0-5. Enough said. This is Al Red Sox fans saying thank you very much for watching. Big shout out to Max Cornelius in the chat. He joined me for both games of the doubleheader. He says, good win for the Red Sox. Yes, it was. And hopefully come back, Max, if you have opportunities for more when I'm on. For anyone who watched live, thank you very much. Feel free to jump in the chat. For anyone watching on demand, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Any thoughts on the 77 season or past seasons or present seasons and teams and players? Greatly appreciate it. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you want, hit the subscribe button, share. Most of all, come back and enjoy. And again, feel free to jump in the chat if we're live and you're watching, or share your comments. We don't bite. So once again, a big shout out and thanks to Max Cornelius. Health and happiness to everyone. Enjoy. Take care. Till next time. God bless.